DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Well, I'm out walking. It's Wednesday, and it's been a good day up to now. This morning, I had an online Spanish lesson, which was quite interesting because we were actually only two students, and one was a lady from France that I had in a class before, so we knew each other, so to say, because you don't really get to know the people on this. And a teacher that I had before, she's Colombian and really a great teacher. So it was actually a lot of fun. Now, well, after lunch, watched a show on Disney Plus with Mrs. DC. What's it called again? Murder in a Building, the latest installment. And now I'm out walking in one of my usual places. I'm coming up to the fields where I've showed you many times, so I won't bother. Yesterday evening, I was at a prayer meeting in our church. Now, the church that we attend is an evangelical church with, I would say, a slightly Pentecostal bent. I say slightly because, like myself, I'm not what you would call a Pentecostal. I'm certainly closer to a Presbyterian Baptist, if ever that makes any type of sense. But what I wanted to bring up, talking about that, was like in this church, which is a very Bible-believing evangelical church, there's probably over half of the people there that are African from I don't know how many countries in Africa. There's Afghans and there's Americans and there's people like myself, which are mixed breed. So I mean, Canadian or Swiss, there's French, there's Swiss, there's everything in there. And it's quite interesting because you also have a lot of different political opinions. Now, I'm bringing that because in the last period, that I've, met a lot of people lately and everything, there's a lot of trash talk going out, because of the political environments and right now, I mean, the so-called progressives are certainly in the lead, and it's really fashionable to trash and poo-poo on Christians, and then particularly on Christianity. And would I say that annoys me? Yeah, it does. But at the same time, I've been thinking, why? Why bother? Does God need my help? No. And I mean, usually pent-up anger and feelings for, revenge or what can last for years and years and years within people. And, there's usually you can say what you want, but, are you out to win a person or are you out to love a person? Yeah, so yesterday actually at the prayer meeting, I brought that up, when I was saying that, we often have to forget, that basically God is not sovereign. Doesn't need my help. Goodness sakes, look at the person that I am. I mean, I keep saying, and that's a big discussion, is that the people that understand what a church is, a Christian church is that it's made for what we would call sinners, for trashy people, for everybody. But people like me in particular, and so on, people like you. So, I was thinking at one point, okay, I've been seeing a lot of things lately, over here, online, everywhere. And it's like, okay, let's just, let, people express themselves. In a way, it's okay. People should have the right to express themselves. I was listening to Steve Brown, a pastor who was in Florida, listening to him earlier, And one thing that he said that I found really interesting is, says, if you take somebody down, basically, and as he was saying, he's done it before, you take somebody down, what have you done? You have not probably helped, the situation to be able to, build a relationship in that respect. On the contrary, very often if you've done that, you'll have done that in pride and something like that. And, anger and hatred are not part, I was going to say, of, well, to use this Christian talk or religious talk, spiritual gifts. Yeah. Now, does that mean that, you're supposed to be a weenie and always walk away? Part of the whole anger situation in many people is a fight or flight thing, isn't it? And like I say, it can last for years. But there are times, when you really do have to stand up for what you believe. But you have to be certain that what you're doing is justified. More often than not, our actions and the way that we will be perceived is definitely more important. And what I mean by perceived is not perceived like in a surface-like way. In German, we'd say oberflächlich. No, you should be perceived as you really are. Now, is that easy? People often come to me and say, oh, well, you Christians, you like to give lessons and so on. And that's actually a bad thing very often. It's a bad trait with a lot of people I know, by the way, Christians and non-Christians alike. But you know why? It's a normal human trait. And up to now, as far as I know, we're all human. So is it surprising that we would have this trait? No, it isn't, actually. Anyway, it's got me to thinking, because I was walking and I was listening to the Key Life podcast with Steve Brown, and that came up, and I thought, oh, well, that's interesting, because that discussion came up yesterday in the prayer meeting as well. And I get back to the church, one of the things that's been a preoccupation actually lately is housing for refugees. I know that America, so the United States, has quite a big issue with refugees. We have a lot of them here in Europe. I'm not even talking about Italy, which is way worse than we are as far as sheer numbers are. But in Switzerland, we had a lot of Ukrainians, for example, and other countries, of course. I mentioned like the Afghans and so on. But, and to try and find decent housing, decent schooling and so on, and just simply sometimes feeding them. Our people, a lot of people in our community and faith-based groups have been working really, really hard on that. So, it's kind of nice to hear and talk about all that. Where did I start, for the sakes? These old retired guys, sometimes they just start off on a I was almost going to say on a rant, but on a direction, and then all of a sudden they don't know which direction they're at. Have you ever noticed that? Actually, that's the nice thing about vlogging, is that you can do that. You can just simply chat, talk about your ideas, your thoughts, and in a way, you're actually talking to not only to yourself, but there's a kids from I think it's from this little creche over there. Yeah, but that's one of the nice things. Well, I'm coming up to 10 minutes. Kind of stop that. We were talking not too long ago on some vlogs about tags, and that's one of the nice things actually about tags, is that you have questions that permit you to I mean, questions that you wouldn't maybe even think of, and you can expand on them. I tend very often to take, I do two types of tags. I'll be closing in 2 seconds. I take those from Dave Nicholson, who's a great vlogger, by the way, and he has also a tag channel, and those from Jasmine, which is a person in the UK, and between both of them, they've got great tag questions, which I tend to almost expand into a vlog. I guess it's probably my own way of doing the tags, but you know, if you like those things, it's pretty good. And man, do I have to stop. Okay, that'll be DC signing off. Take care. Hope you have a good Wednesday, and the rest of the week will be good for you. Okay, bye-bye. Take care.